We didn't talk about your blogs.
That's right. We didn't talk about the blogs.
So that's a good thing. So let's talk about the blogs for a second. So you have nothing going on. Like, you're writing books and you're raising a family and you're practicing law and you're the commissioner of a fantasy baseball league, and you're doing book signings and media appearances, and then also on top of that, you just happen to do a blog once in a while.
My blog's been relatively silent lately as I've been doing the book, though, to be honest with you. It kind of took over that. First, though, shout-outs really quickly, just like my acknowledgments in the page. My wife and children, of course, for their support. My assistant, Karen, who was helpful in the Brazilian translations and for helping with the office. And anybody who's read my stuff on the blog for the last few years and told me that I can write, because that was very helpful. The blog I was writing at a blog site called Open Salon, and it's really open.salon.com is the main page for it. And I started writing, I think, about 3 years ago. And it's really at my whim when I feel like writing something. And I have a long commute in the morning some days. I live about a half an hour away from the office. On a bad day, it could be 45 minutes to an hour. Plenty of time. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not calling anybody. So once in a while, I think about something. Something catches my head. What do I want to write about today? And oftentimes it's about the Yankees or about baseball or about sports or something else. And some of them have been like the proverbial tree falling in the forest and nobody's read them. Other ones have been very widely read. I wrote a series, if you will, when the Joe Paterno thing at Penn State came down. And there was a sequence of, say, 3 blogs. First, when it was exposed, then when he got fired, and then a Sandusky-related one. And they each had at least, based on the number on the blog, about 7,000 readers, which to me is a lot.
That's a good number.
And a couple of them were picked up by other sites, so who knows how many people read it there. But my crowning glory was part of a blog I wrote once, which was like a poem, was picked up by a website in Pakistan.
Wow.
And it says, they took the lines and said, these beautiful words are taken from the beautiful poem by... And I thought that was just fantastic. You Google yourself, you find things out sometimes. It's amazing.
Well, I usually find negative things, so I don't bother. So what do we see down the road in the future? Are there more books coming?
I hope so. I retooled the fantasy baseball book because when I wrote it in 1994,
the world was a little different.
There was no internet. There were no cell phones. So I've redone that, and I'm hoping maybe to release that at some point. And I have another idea. Another legally related idea where Mr. Goldberg is a character in the book. He's not the main character. He's the attorney for the main character. And I have a concept in my head that I'm working on, and maybe I can do something with that. So
do you see this as a series, perhaps?
I don't want to call it a series just because, in my mind, a series implies it's like, the madcap adventures of Eric Goldberg. What the other one is more legally based, actually. And more dark. It's a darker psychological, in my head at least, the way I'm doing it now.
Well,
I see how it comes out.
I can't imagine anything more darker than being a murder suspect.
It can be darker,
wow.
believe me. It can be darker. Being a suspect is one thing, but actually having certain scenarios play out psychologically. And it's one of my favorite authors is Thomas Harris. And, The Silence of the Lambs books. And I recount the story about, I was on a cruise with my wife once, and I'm on deck in the Caribbean somewhere. And it's sunny, and you've got that reggae band playing a Bob Marley tune, and there's a margarita sitting on the ground next to me, and I'm reading Hannibal by Thomas Harris. And I am petrified because I'm reading this book, and this book is so scary that even though I'm in this paradise, I can't even turn around because I'm afraid of what's behind me.
Wow.
So psychologically, a great psychological thriller. So that's what I'm kind of looking at, maybe doing and stretching out in the next one. I'm hoping to find a publisher or an editor who takes a liking to me and thinks I have some potential, so we can do something like that, and we'll see where that takes me.
Wow. So, again, this is the fastest hour of radio. I got to make sure I just get all this right. All right. You have been listening to Taking Care of Business on WCWP 88.1 FM. The show is Taking Care of Business. The book is In His Own Defense by Andrew Wolfenson. The website is inhisown.defense.com. He has some charities that the book supports, which is kind of cool. Celiac.org is one of them, and caresfoundation.org is the other. Check out his web stuff, both his blogs and his law firm site. If you want to give him a call in New Jersey for bankruptcy, divorce, or general litigation type matters, 908-686-7230. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in a week.